Today I fucked up by sexually abusing my friend without even knowing it. Before I start, I want to deeply apologize to all women who have to go through casual sex abuse. Here it goes. I've known this girl for almost a year now and we've been getting very sexy with each other from time to time. Sometimes, if we're extra horny, I'd casually ask for nudes as a joke, expecting nothing really but just for a bit of a tease. Turns out, that all this time, I've been making her feel uncomfortable with these requests. She always brushed it off because she is just used to this casual type of sex abuse in her workplace and study place. When I asked why, she's never told me. She just said that she's used to it. My heart sank, right there and then. I felt like the most slimy, most foul, most disgusting person on the planet, and I will never forgive myself for contributing to an insanely toxic environment. To everyone, from the bottom of my heart, I am sorry if you ever had to experience any kind of sexual abuse from anyone. I hope you are doing fine, and I feel like people like me deserve all the criticism in the world. This post is not meant for any kind of pity or anything of that sorts. I genuinely feel guilty, and I'm posting in hopes of someone reading this and changing their ways. Even the most innocent things might hurt someone or contribute to a toxic environment. Too long didn't read. I sexually abused my friend by asking for nudes without knowing she feels uncomfortable. I know it's extra hard when you realize you've messed up on something without knowing because you never intended to be malicious, but the important thing is you're learning from this mistake, and going forward, you're less likely to make said mistake again. As time goes on, your friend will almost certainly notice that you've corrected your behavior, and that action will speak volumes. To those saying she should have told you, I get where she was coming from by keeping quiet. Society has trained women for centuries to not make a fuss, because a lot of times, when we do, we are rewarded for doing so by either being dismissed or getting lashed out at, sometimes violently. Ideally, she should have told you, but sometimes it's not worth the hassle, and if she's particularly non-confrontational, it might be more uncomfortable to say something than to take the unwitting harassment. Hopefully this helps you understand her actions, or lack thereof, a bit better. That being said, you can't help what you don't know, so don't beat yourself up over it. If you're ever unsure, it also doesn't hurt to occasionally check with someone by simply asking if it's okay to do or say something. Since you are genuinely upset that you've made this mistake, you may feel unsure of yourself in the future, and it's okay to just double check with someone if you're making them uncomfortable, even if it's only for your own peace of mind. You didn't sexually abuse her. At worst you sexually harassed her, but if you have a sexual relationship, asking the question, as long as you didn't pester and asked respectfully, taking no for an answer, isn't actually that off the wall. It's reasonable to assume that in a sexual relationship that request might be okay. She didn't tell you it was a problem. How were you to know? We had a very mild sexual interaction once, but it never led to anything because she was fresh out of a 4-year relationship. I still feel incredibly frustrated with myself because I always try to do good by people, and this was a huge eye-opener that I can't control myself. I fear that I might do other things that are not okay, and I might never even realize it. Sexual harassment is still a very huge deal, and I never want to contribute to it again. Oof, I remember once doing some horny talk with a friend of mine. It was all going great until I made a comment about how I jerk off. He later told me that at that moment, she was very worried I might actually whip out my penis to give her a demo. I found it weird because the thought never occurred to me. I reassured her that I wouldn't ever do that. But I gave it some thought and realized that most women have to go through their daily lives worried about some random creep whipping out a dick in front of them, because the world has no shortage of overconfident creeps. Thank you, man. This was an awesome post to read. As a woman, knowing that men can understand, listen and apologize even when the harassment isn't actual rape or physical abuse makes me feel better about living in this world. However, reading lots of comments saying this isn't that bad or stuff hurts me very much. Comparisons with objects, private properties, whatever. Really? Come on guys, we are women, we experience harassment every day. I really can't understand why you read this post and think about about minimizing what happened, instead of congratulating with opt for his awareness about pushing others' boundaries and stuff, or maybe, recognize that you could be guilty as well. Thank you so much about what you said, it was the point I was trying to make from the beginning. All abuse is abuse no matter how little, and I feel dreadfully guilty about it. Thank you for your comment, I really appreciate it. You didn't abuse her. You did harass her. It's true that you caused this uncomfortable situation, and it's a shame that she felt compelled to minimize it rather than tell you how it made her feel. Now is your chance to be more respectful to her and others in the future. The best way to handle this is, now that you realize it, less than 10% apology with more than 90% empathy plus changed future behavior. Today I fucked up by challenging a girl to a 1v1 in basketball. This happened this past weekend. Throwaway as well. My neighbor, let's call her Hannah, is a senior in college, I'm a sophomore, and we were hanging out with some other friends trying to figure out what to do with our weekend. Most of our options are closed due to COVID. We eventually got onto the topic of women's pay for the women's soccer team, and I got into an argument about how the talent levels are different between men's and women's sports, etc. The debate went on for a while with my friends egging us on. Eventually I got carried away and started saying that girls just can't compete with guys at any sport. This is when she got mad and challenged me to a 1v1 in basketball. I initially scoffed and said don't be silly, but she was serious. I don't know how, but every shot she took she seemed to make, and I was missing everything. We ended the game 11-5, with her absolutely destroying me. It was a lot of humble pie. My friends had a good laugh, and as part of losing, where I fucked was agreeing to wearing an NFL cheerleader uniform if I lost. She suggested this right before our game and I agreed. Thought there was no way I could lose. My friends convinced her to make me post about this on Reddit and let you guys decide if I have to go through with the following: 1, if I have to wear the NFL cheer outfit, and 2, what outfit I have to wear. The top comment after 24 hours is what I will have to replicate, and I have to post proof on Reddit. Too long, didn't read, trashed talked a girl at basketball and now might have to wear an NFL cheerleader costume and post on Reddit. Edit, Hannah and the guys said that if you guys want to link a particular outfit, that would be better so that they can make me replicate it from head to toe. Edit 2, to clarify for those asking, proof will be posted of me in the outfit if Reddit decides I have to go through with the task. Did anyone else get a DM from Op asking to delete their comment? Couldn't keep their word, yikes. You unashamedly doubled down on the sexist claim, and your neighbor fed you the cake you so desperately wanted to eat. 2. 1. Honor your bets. 2. Let Hannah decide. You doubled down, you got to do it. Go with the epitome of NFL cheer, Dallas Cowgirls. Hannah here. Edit, should we make him shave his legs? I mean, a true cheerleader would make sure her legs are nice and smooth. Thoughts? Waxing, not just the legs, but underarms too. It's all a part of the outfit, isn't it? Today I fucked up by being an asshole to really pretty girl jumping a queue. This happened about 10 years ago in my first year at university. I can't really say if this was a fuck up, but at the time there were a lot of people giving me strange looks. Me and my friends were standing in a queue to receive some of our study books. The queue was a bit long, so we've been waiting for a while and was close to the front of the reception. Few moments later, a very pretty blonde girl shows up and jumps the queue by asking one of the guys to let her in. He obviously lets her in. Me, being the defender of justice, decides to speak up in a slightly frustrated tone. I say, hey, you can't jump the queue, you have to wait in line like the rest of us. The girl is surprised and just stares at me. There is a weird silence, but not just from my friends, the whole room goes silent. She says sorry, I didn't think it would be a problem, and walks towards the back of the line. This is when I feel the stares from the people around me, and my friend asks me, why were you so rude to her? I respond by saying because she can't just skip the line. My other friend says, do you even know that was? This is where I start to feel like I did something wrong. My friend tells me she is the presenter on TV. So some backstory on the girl. Growing up, Some kiddies shows have presenters, and one of the presenters was this girl. She was however a presenter on a channel that was subscription based. My parents never subscribed because it was too expensive, so I never knew who she was. Everyone in the room clearly recognized her as a celebrity because they saw her on TV growing up and she's super hot. So they were all giving me wicked looks for how I treated her, and I heard some mild reactions. Never have I felt so judged in my life. Needless to say, me and my friends laughed about it afterwards. I presume she stayed in the queue at least until I got my stuff. I still stand behind my decision though of telling her to go to the back. She can be hot, but there was no way she was getting a free pass because of that. I kinda felt bad afterwards though because of how many people judged me for it. Too long didn't read. I told a mildly famous pretty presenter to not jump the queue because I had no idea who she was. No fuck up there. Good for you. The real fuck up is everyone giving her a pass. Dude, you may not know this, but you kind of did her a favor. Some people when they get famous start taking their status for granted. They don't even know they're doing this, or that they're beginning to think they somehow deserve to be treated in a special way, when they're really just fellow human beings. She needed that reminder. She may have hated you for a moment back then, but I'll bet she feels much more positive about the encounter today. You did a good thing, a fake. Not a fuck up. Entirely appropriate. Congrats to you. Someone had to put her in her place. Agree with others who have posted. You didn't fuck up here. Being mildly famous and or hot doesn't mean you get to skip a line everyone else is waiting in. Does not make her time any more valuable than yours. Not like she was in a rush to go do some life-changing surgery. In which case, she probably should skip the bookstore anyway.